Hello and welcome, rookie card collecting friends. Well, today is a special day for this channel. I have one of the hobby goats, hobby OGs, especially when we're dealing and talking about rookie cards. I invited Rich Klein onto the show, and he graciously said yes. And this was a interview, guys, that I'd done a lot of. I figured, man, I have an opportunity to speak to one of the greatest guys in the hobby about rookie cards, and I really sat down and I says, man, what am I going to ask this man? I have so many questions. I feel like my head is just going in 100 different ways. But without further delay, Rich, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. And I will tell you, I have retired from discussions today about rookie cards. I now just play with cards. I buy them, I sell them, I trade them. I don't get into rookie card discussions anymore because I spent 19 years of my life doing that, and that is more than sufficient for me.
So you're starting out with a disclaimer right out of the bat. Right?
I am starting out the disclaimer right out of the bat. I'll happily talk about the past, but the present, the work I'm doing at ComC, I am not involved in any of those conversations. They are doing a great job without me, and I do not want to stick my head into somebody else's good work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to get, somebody left me a comment on my last video. They said, Victor, I love your content, man. Can you just maybe just get to the point? Let's just get right into it a little bit sooner. So keeping that in mind, let's just dig right into this thing, because I want to get to know you a little bit better, Rich. I want my audience to get to know you a little bit better. But I know you're beloved in many hobby circles, and you're respected as one of the OGs in the hobby. But you're also known as Uncle Rich. Can you tell us how that term, nickname, affectionately came about?
And it's funny, the first person that ever called me Uncle Rich is a dealer from California named Nigel Spill, who is oldies and goodies. And he is a super good guy. He did a lot of oddballs. He helped us with the Beckett Almanac and other of the annual guides. And he started calling me Uncle Rich in the 90s. 25 years before the Uncle Rich persona hit everywhere else. I don't have any kids, but I am an uncle. And so one day, I think it was my teammate at ComC, Stefan Loeffler, who was doing a webcast with Ben Wilson and Tim Shepler. And they started referring to me as Uncle Rich. And so I changed my Twitter name from, at Saber Geek to Uncle Rich Klein. And from that point on, I've been Uncle Rich, and it was kind of funny.
It stuck.
But it was very funny a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
One of my niece's best friends growing up, and they've been friends, since they were 6 years old. She's about to have a baby. We're getting ready to leave, and I'm like waiting for my wife and mother-in-law to get out of the ladies' room, and I'm standing, and, it was at her apartment complex, and the manager just wanted to make sure. And he points at me and says, "Who's this?" And she goes to me, "That's my uncle, and he keeps an eye on everything." And I realized the Uncle Rich persona has really become. I really am Uncle Rich now.
You are.
I am great Uncle Rich too, but Uncle Rich is more than sufficient.
A term of endearment.
The nieces have 1, 2, like 7 kids between them, 8 kids between them, counting this one that's, even though she's not my niece, she is my niece. I'll be in double digits probably by the end of the year. So there'll be a lot of chances to be great Uncle Rich too. Yeah. But in the card world, I like being Uncle Rich.
Yep.
The person in the corner, just, hey, if you have any questions, come see me.
Yep. It's very befitting for sure. Now, your hobby resume is pretty vast, and I know, can you share a little bit about your journey and how you started in the industry and how your career evolved?
I was buying cards in the late 70s, and I started doing shows, and I sold a lot of stuff way too cheap in today's world, and some stuff I did well at. And I mean, we didn't have fancy monster boxes. We didn't have stuff. It was old school way of storing cards, and I enjoy the bantering with the customers, and I enjoy all the things. And I also am a competent writer. So I was doing writing for Baseball Hobby News in the 80s. I also was contributing to what they'll call their dealer poll and their dealer comments. And that was always a lot of fun. And then Dr. Beckett picked me and some other people. He and I want this to not to sound wrong, but he almost was using the younger people who, and at the time I was younger, obviously it's the 80s. He was using the younger people who were helping Baseball Hobby News almost as the farm team to come to Beckett.
Okay.
There were at least 3 of us who have written articles for Baseball Hobby News that all went to work at Beckett for quite a few years. One made a detour Panini, and he's still there. And and I saw him recently, and he's the editorial director. Mike Payne and Theo Chen's running an autograph business in San Diego, and myself. And Theo would write these long letters about pricing, and I would do things with. It wasn't formal, but Dr. Beckett understood I did things in a math way, but it was never in a math way that. I understood how to do it instinctively. I didn't understand all the complex logic. I just knew how to get there.
Okay.
But we had a bunch of us, and then I came to work for Beckett in 1990, and I was there full time, then a couple years in contract to 2009. And then if you were a radio disc jockey, they call it, I was on the beach until, in terms of full-time hobby employment, until ComC picked me up at the beginning of 2017. I spent several years at Bank of America until they offshored my job. And to be honest, the position I had when they offshored it was a logical business decision.
Okay.
You never like hearing your job being offshored, but trust me, I was getting my 1 week's worth every week. I was hitting my week's work by usually Thursday at noon.
Okay.
But at that time, I started writing again for Sports Collectors Daily. And the funniest thing is somebody was saying, well, and I told somebody recently how much, I got paid. And the person said, why? And I said, well, because you wanted to reestablish I had to reestablish my name, so to speak.
Okay.
And I took a little less to have myself out there. And it worked very well.
Okay.
And I did a lot. And you read my articles. You've researched the Rich's Ramblings.
Rich's Ramblings. Yep.
That was very popular, especially when I delved into the older subjects.
Yep.
And then I've done some writing for GTS distributors, and now for Hobby News Daily. You can read the GTS articles. It's Klein's Corner, and I don't know what we're calling it on Hobby News Daily. There'll be a new article coming out about why I blame Mickey Mantle for my career choice.
Okay.
And that's really my hobby journey. And I still play, and I buy and sell, and I trade baseball cards for fun. And I enjoy looking at them. And I don't do high-level cards very much anymore. I call it nickel, dime, quarter cards for the most part. And I have a pretty good idea on that level what to buy, sell, and trade.
Okay. So would you consider yourself a collector, investor, or dealer?
If I told you none of the above, would you believe me?
That's a tough pill to swallow.
I'm a player, and I'm a player, but not that type of player. Here's the thing: I haven't set up at a show now for a year and a half. If I'm at the Dallas Card Show, if I'm not walking around, and and we're not overstaffed, I'm at the ComC booth.
Okay.
So I'm not selling cards. I'm buying cards, but I'm not really a collector. I mean, I do collect certain things, or I put away certain things. My real collection has to do with people who have hobby cards.
Okay.
I have a local dealer friend, Jerry Adamic, and I found some cards of his in like a quarter box. I don't know what they were doing there, but I guess they popped up. And at the last Dallas Card Show, I had him sign some of his quarter cards for me.
Yeah.
I paid like a quarter each. I bought them, and he laughed, and he said, yeah, and I want you to sign them. And he graciously signed them, and, it was kind of fun. That's really my hobby collection.
Okay.
I have a hobby-based collection.
Yeah.
When our mutual friend, Bo Spencer Thompson, had the Couch People Christmas party,
Yes.
somebody asked me, do you have any copies of that Dave Kingman 1985 Topps card that Beckett used? Because we had gotten 500 of them from Wayne Grove to test how to grade a card. Yeah, I had one. And then somebody showed me what it was selling on eBay. And I said, man, I would take half that money and gladly sell mine.
Yeah.
I'm not in, I'm getting to the age. They're not going to the grave with me.
Right.
The money helps everybody. So I'm not at that point, but I like having what I have. But I do collect. I do, in a sense, collect hobby-based stuff, and I do collect stuff relating to my birthday, and I collect stuff relating to where I went to high school and college. There are two major leaguers from my high school, Harrison Bader and Pedro Alvarez. So when I see them in dime boxes, I buy them.
Okay.
I don't even hesitate. I just buy them.
Yeah.
And then if they're more expensive, then I sort of play a little.
I can't explain it, but I know when I first started into the hobby, I was heavy into prospecting, and that evolved into rookie cards of Hall of Famers, and then that evolved into the jersey patch autos. But nothing has brought more joy in my collecting than going through bargain boxes and dollar boxes. I don't know what it is. It's just so much fun.
Well, I mean, think about it, Dr. Jim Beckett, who could buy at this point just about anything he wants in the card market. If you see him at a show, and if he's at a table, 98% of the time, the cards he's looking at a table are in we'll call it a dollar box. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it might be a $2 box or a $3 box. Sometimes it could be a quarter or 50-cent box. But we use the term dollar box.
Yeah.
And, and so he has a good time. And he talks about this on his podcast. Yeah. He goes, remember, he is a PhD in statistics. He can't really lose for himself at that price. He can either break even, win, or win reasonably nicely. But he's not going to lose if he knows what he's doing. You can lose if you start spending $20, $30, $40 on a card. It was a great, I'll give you an example. And this is not a rookie card, but the Dave and Adams chase for that Drew Jones Superfractor.
Right.
And I take the money. There's no guarantees being a Hall of Fame. I take the money and run.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
If I pulled that card. But that point is, he would not be playing on that. I might open a box. I mean, our good friends from Triple Cards in Plano were selling blaster boxes of Bowman for $25 at the last Dallas Card Show. Yeah. There was another vendor, he was at $28. Well, I don't mind spending $30 for a chance to do something like that. Yeah. You're talking about, prospecting. What's a better way to prospect than with Bowman?
Right.
So, so there are certain things. I still like busting boxes. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Walmart and I bought a couple of Heritage blaster boxes. I'm sure I'll buy a Topps 2 blaster in the next few weeks. I'll may buy another Bowman blaster, something like that. It's open, every couple months, every couple months, I like buying the blasters. I will buy a Topps 1 box when it comes out, and I've bought the Heritage box. I will buy a Heritage Minors box and a Heritage High Number box. And those are and so I do buy some stuff just to remember what it is to open packs.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, but that's what I mean. I'm not really a collector, but I'm not a dealer. I'm not making a living dealing.
You've probably done it all, though.
I've done it all. Yes. Yeah. So that's why I call it playing at this point.
Yeah. Playing the field, right? Let's dig into the weeds a little bit on the rookie card. I was wondering, what is over your career? We just looked at your career in the hobby. What specifically? What was your role in the rookie card?
My role was I was just part of the discussion at Beckett. I was not making any of the final decisions.
Okay.
I will tell you that one of our teammates, who's no longer with us, Mike Hirsch, used to say something to the effect, make them all rookie cards, or make the 1983 Topps traded Darryl Strawberry the rookie card.
Yeah.
And I don't think in today's world, I don't know if he's wrong.
Yeah.
I really don't, even though the reason was 83 Topps traded or 82 Topps traded really didn't have the thing with 82 Topps traded. Ripken already had the 3-player rookie card. So it's not really another, unless you want to call it rookie card number 2, it really wasn't his first rookie card in Topps. And 81, Raines and Valenzuela, it's the same thing. They both were on 3-player cards.
Right.
I think Danny Ainge may have had a true rookie. And of course, in 81 Topps, you have the fact that they numbered the cards consecutively as part of, it's 727 to 858. But then in 82, they start 1T to 132T.
Right.
So
Right.
they differentiate those. So you can
The-
make more of an argument for an 81 Danny Ainge to be a rookie card than you can't,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a card before, but it's numbered as part of the regular set.
I've
82,
always go ahead.
82 really doesn't have that. I think Steve Strother, and who knows why they picked him, has a rookie card in 80, if you wanted to say it that way.
Right.
His only card is like 82 tops traded.
My issue with them always, Rich, has been the distribution method. Those were hobby shop only. And in my region back in the early 80s, there was no card shops in our area. That was in the nice neighborhoods.
Well,
and I didn't know what a tops traded set was till
that's
86.
why until the late 80s, that was why the rookie card rule, that's basically the real reason Dr. Jim's rookie rule was.
Yeah.
Because the hobby stores weren't everywhere.
Right.
And that was the real reason. Because, these in the hobby, we sell them all the time. But if you went, the average person was not having an 83 tops traded Darryl Strawberry card. Or that was their ultimate goal card, but that wasn't a card that they, that was their card that maybe for holidays they would get it.
Yeah.
Or the 84 tops traded Dwight Gooden. 84 Fleer Update Dwight Gooden if you really had some coin. Or Clemens or Puckett. And so that's why the rule was like that.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on that, because that's why. But what happened was 89 Upper Deck really started changing things.
Yeah.
They started putting the last series cards. It was almost Back to the Future. Cards 701 to 800 were in the packs with the lower number cards. How can you, even though there was a separate high number set, how can you not consider that a rookie card?
Right.
And that started a conversation of where does it end? And that's why that really started the whole wheels. And anytime we tried to change the definition at Beckett, card company would think, let's see how we can work around this and make them do this, call this a rookie card.
And they would change it
So
up.
it was a constant cat and mouse game or whack-a-mole or whatever about rookie cards. And I tell the story, and I don't remember the product in Pacific Hockey, but there is some hockey card, and the rookie cards were serial numbered to the player's uniform number. So sure enough, you have a hockey rookie card, with the definition we had at the time, with a print run of one card. I mean, thank God he wasn't a superstar.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you have a print run of one card
Right.
for a rookie card, and it was a rookie card.
Now, do you think the manufacturers did that on purpose, or that's just coincidence?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they knew what they were doing.
They just didn't want us to establish any structure to it, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, they want, rookie cards drive products.
Right.
And so you want as much as possible to have a card be called a rookie card.
Right.
I don't, as a business person, if I was in a card company, I would come up with whatever way I can to come up with as many rookie cards as possible. So I don't have a problem with all these companies trying to do things and game the system and come up with rookie cards. I'm going to jump ahead a little. Mm-hmm. In 2001, one of the reasons the hobby had, it was a couple years after the home run chase of Sosa and McGuire, mm-hmm. The hobby had another micro boom in 2001 because Mr. Pujols and Mr. Suzuki, mm-hmm. Ichiro to most of you, Ichiro to just about everybody else, mm-hmm. had no American cards before 2001.
Right.
So all their cards in 2001 that came out May going to the end of the year, they're all rookie cards. Well, all those products sold and Mark Pryor was also a very popular rookie in 2001.
Sure was.
You're from the Chicago area, and mm-hmm. you can verify that.
Yep.
But that was like the light turning on. What can we do to really clean up the rookie card issue?
Yeah.
And then it was a little bit contentious. It took a few years.
Yeah.
And then at the end of 2005, Topps and Upper Deck came up with their, they were the last two licenses standing. Panini, Donruss, Leaf, Playoff, Panini, whatever their name was at the time, was not going to be able to print major league cards. And that was a hullabaloo too. They still could do basketball and football and all the other sports. And the Players Association, and I kind of agree with this, they wanted rookie cards issued in the players' rookie season.
Correct.
And I'm a big fan of that.
I am too.
I'm a big fan of that. I mean, the thing is, you call up a guy now, and, one of the years, I think it was 2021, because of funky things that were still COVID related, you could have people called up on September 20th. Mm-hmm. To me, it's okay to set a date to say, hey, if you came up after September 1st and you came up, even if you're going to be the hottest shot prospect, we'll put your rookie card in next year's set.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
I am too.
But the general goal is like Mr. Volpe, even though he's having a bad year, he comes up this year. His rookie card is in 2023 Topps and 2023 Heritage. And the rookie cards in the year you come up to play baseball, I am a big fan of.
I am too, but they're twisting it, Rich, and that's one issue that I have with manufacturing, where you have rookies that do qualify for a rookie card, but they're holding like they did with Adley Rutschman. I mean,
when did Rutschman come up? Because I do think some of it has to do with production schedules. It takes 11 to 12 months. You can get things in at the last minute. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You can always change it. But for the most part, I'm okay with that. If baseball says, if you come up after the All-Star break, your rookie card will be in next year's sets. You know what? That's a rule I could say, fine. We live with that. We move on.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that, because you do want to make sure, especially if you have a good rookie coming up in the middle of the season, which does happen, you want to make sure that you can at least start the next year well too.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I really am okay with that, because one thing baseball has done as part of the latest CBA, and it was a great move, and it prevents some of, we'll call it the Chris Bryant shenanigans, is that if you are on, let's say, we'll call it the opening day roster, but if you finish in the top 2 or 3 in the rookie of the year voting, and you're up the whole season, your team gets an extra first round at the end of the first round, but still an extra first round draft pick.
Yeah.
So there's a justification to have players come up and produce as rookies immediately. And if they can, and you get them into the card sets, then, there's no excuse. If you start the season with a team and you're a good player, there's no excuse not to be in card sets beginning with Topps 2 or whatever.
Right. Update or something. Right.
But if you come up August 1st, I can understand. We want to hold it the next year.
I can understand it.
And so I'm okay. I don't want to say it's perfect, because it's never perfect. Right. Gerald Laird, who had 5 years of experience, showed up in a Heritage set as a rookie prospect card. They just made a mistake. People make mistakes too.
They definitely have the right to do it, right? But when we're dealing with rookie cards, those are the types of shenanigans that really muddy the waters, because they ended up doing that with the 2021 Bowmans Best. They with the Wander Franco, they threw him in there in December, right? They put him in the Bowmans Best set.
31st.
Yeah. What a debacle.
We talked about that. I don't know if you were on, but we talked about that on Hobby Hotline that weekend.
Did you guys?
It was just, and whether it was an innocent mistake or whether it was deliberate, and I don't want to say anything about anything, but why would you waste the rookie card logo on a Bowman's Best set when you're probably going to hold Wander Franco? You really want to hold him for the 2022 Topps 1 set.
Right.
I think that's a mistake. I think some of those, I think there were 5 people, and I think those were mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people make mistakes. It's why, look, I wrote an errors and variation column for years.
Yeah.
I mean, card companies made mistakes.
For sure.
I mean, this 19-year-old right-hander is only 18 years old. Tell me who proofread that sentence.
Yeah. Right.
I
I
mean,
remember
do
you
you
talking
really
about that.
think they wanted to call a 19-year-old player 18 years old? That's
Yeah.
the 1964 Topps card. It's one of my favorite typos. It's like, oh, time travel. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
The point is, people make mistakes. People do things. Yes, we want to hold them to a higher standard. They're still human beings. I am a big fan of top 40 radio disc jockeys of the 60s, 70s, into the 80s. That's the music I grew up with. I'm more a pop music guy than I am what some people call butt rock of the 90s and 2000s or hair bands, even though I do like some of the power ballads from the hair bands of the 80s. And, some of today's country is really pop, 1970s pop, just regurgitated 50 years later.
Yeah.
So despite what I tell my wife and mother-in-law, I can actually listen to a lot of that stuff. But the point is that there was a great book called Rockin' America by Rick Sklar. And he was the program director of WABC when it was the radio station in the country. It was so powerful in New York that their disc jockeys had the fourth largest audience in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how big it was. And at nighttime, you heard it all the way up and down the Eastern Seaboard. Okay. And one time it went off the air for like 20 minutes. And the next day they went and they had a recap of discussion. They discovered 11 things had to go wrong simultaneously for the station to go off the air. And it still went off the air. And it was still human being. This wasn't the New York City blackout of 65 that did mess up stuff until they got to their alternate generator in Lodi, New Jersey, instead of New York City to keep broadcasting.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a legit, it was an 11-step process, and they still were off the air.
Yeah, yeah.
So, if the best radio station in the country can go off the air and it takes 11 steps, and no matter what you do, it can still happen. People make mistakes.
Sure. But it's the, the tinfoil hat activates the tinfoil hat, narrative. But I hear you. I just wish that they would be quicker when they do make a mistake. Please, can we give like a press release kind of explaining? And I believe they did with that Wander Franco issue. They did end up sending out a press release after the fact, after the hobby went in an uproar.
Well, it was around the holiday season. They may not even been in the office.
Yeah, that's true. If you catch a mistake on a Friday night, most people aren't in a corporate office till Monday morning. So unless you have somebody really sharp and saying, let's get something out immediately, you're going to have a 3 or 4 day discussion anyway. Right.
That's why the old joke about if you're going to bury bad news, you bury it at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon.
Right. That's hilarious. Well, Rich, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of this episode. I sent you over the document, the 10 Commandments of the Rookie Card version 2. And I gave that to you. I wanted you to look at it, and I wanted to give you full permission to completely critique this thing.
Oh, I read the one thing I did read was the article you sent me. I really didn't pay a ton of attention, to be honest, to the 10 Commandments. But here's the thing. It's okay. I really am okay with what is the command? Just tell me a couple of your commandments and we'll talk about them.
Okay. Let's do that. Let me scroll down here a little bit. I did open up the document.
Because I know from studying the 10 Commandments in our Sabbath study, they're written in a very specific manner. Like the most important one overall is first down to the 10th commandment. They're all important, don't get me wrong.
Oh, 100%.
And then there are 682 total commandments when all are said and done in the Torah.
Yeah.
But, the 10 Commandments start with, let's say, the most important one first. And then, the first 5 refer to God, and then the 6 to 10 refer to people.
Yeah. And this isn't written like to be religious or irreligious.
No, I'm not talking about religious, but I'm talking about how the structure starts with the most important.
Okay.
And then works down.
Yeah. And I think I did kind of the same concept.
So let's talk about what's your most important part of your 10 Commandments.
The first one, proper licensing.
And I think we have that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, if you're Onyx or if you're Leaf, or if you're in the game, or if you're whatever Brian Price is calling his company nowadays, and you make a card of a player in a rookie year, it is not considered a rookie card. The rookie cards are only going to be cards that are licensed by the leagues and the players. I think that's pretty much established. I mean, you may want to say it. And, Panini's sort of borderline when it comes to baseball over the years. Mm-hmm. The last few years, they didn't have a league license, but they had a player license.
And I don't know, just the way that was written by the Players Association, I don't know how they're even allowed to get away with that, the way they're doing it.
And I was okay with that. It helped Panini sell cards. And you know what? It was licensed by the players.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that in baseball.
Okay. And that really, it has to be licensed, proper licensing. That's an easy one.
It always upset me when people say Panini was not licensed. No, it was not licensed in baseball by the leagues, but they had an MLBPA license.
Right.
And that's a license, and that is a very proper license, and they were paying the MLBPA decent money. So I don't have any trouble with calling Panini a licensed product. You may not like them because they weren't showing the uniforms, but they were a licensed product.
Right. But the way the PA's press release of 2006 read was that rookie cards had to be licensed by both the league and the Players Association.
I think that was almost a wink, nod, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I hear you. But some rookie card enthusiasts are against.
Well, I understand your point, but I'm just on this. I am a little more sanguine and just say, you know what?
Yeah.
Panini had a long history of making cards. I'm fine with that. It does not bother me that, let's say Wander Franco has 2022 Panini rookie cards. Does not bother me in the least.
Yeah, and I have scoured the internet. I mean, I have gone deep into the internet to try to find something about, and there's just nothing written historically on that transition of what happened there in 2012.
Right. But I don't have a real problem. I don't have real problems because that's what happened. Upper Deck went away and then Panini came. And, Upper Deck had their near-death experience in 2010, which is why they lost their baseball license.
Yeah.
Because the only thing Upper Deck could eventually do by 2010 was sign players to have players sign signatures. And they were in such bad financial straits, they couldn't even afford the player signatures. And that's basically why Upper Deck went away in 2010 from a baseball license. They really came real close to a near-death experience. They are doing just fine now. So, Kudos to them for pulling themselves out of where they were a decade or so ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to nitpick certain parts that are questionable that I'd want your feedback on it. So distribution, rookie card distribution. Okay. We had, our system set up back in the 80s, pack form, nationally distributed. But of course, come to 2000s, now we have the internet. Okay. And we have certain distribution methods, multiple distribution methods via the internet. However, what is your take on exclusive product when it comes to rookie cards now?
I forgot if I think I mentioned this when we were in the green room. I'll use my former Beckett teammate, Mike Hirsch, who's no longer with us, term. They're all rookie cards. Just make them all rookie cards. I say that kiddingly, but I say that seriously. I mean, There are some cards on Topps now. They haven't always been baseball cards, but when Bernie Sanders dressed up with the mittens during the inauguration, it sold a ton of cards. During the pandemic, the card of Anthony Fauci sold 99,000 cards or something, or was that the Sanders that sold 99,000 cards? Yes, maybe not everybody has a right, but everybody has the internet. Everybody has the same chance to buy these cards. I get an email from Topps now every day. To me, that if I'm smart enough to get on an email list, I'm smart enough to buy a card.
Okay.
Right. And there's a lot of people who don't have card stores or card shows near them.
Right.
And, if the only thing they have is Target and Walmart, they're not going to have all the products anyway.
Yeah.
I am actually okay with widening it up because the distribution is available. Whether people take advantage of it is another subject. But I think last year there was a Topps Now Wander Franco card that in the 20,000 range. That's a lot of cards.
Mm-hmm.
And it said very clearly was an RC, and I'm sure there'll be some guy that gets called up, and they'll make a lot of cards of him on Topps now or Panini Instant, for other sports. I'm okay with that.
Because I know at one point, right?
You and I have the same opportunity as thousands of people getting emails to buy that card.
Yeah.
I got a Topps Now email today.
Yeah.
I don't have a real problem. I don't think, as you pointed out, it's the internet.
Right.
The internet has really changed things. You don't necessarily have to go to a show or a store or a Target or a Walmart to buy cards. You can buy cards in your living room.
Okay, so then let me pose it this way then. I'm one where I think rookie card guidelines per se, okay, if we have boundaries, it gives us structure, and the boundaries then give us freedom within the boundaries. But now if everything's a rookie card, if everybody adopts that, or everybody has adopted that, right, then there is no boundaries, then there is no structure, there is no, what's your take?
No, there is a structure. You know what the structure is? The cards still have to be licensed. It's Topps Now. It's licensed by the players and the owners. Guess what? That's a licensed card.
So you're okay so long as they're licensed.
I'm fine with it, because everybody, of so many people have a chance to buy those cards. If they choose not to buy those cards, that's up to them. That's not up to me or you. Topps Living is a great set. It used to sell a lot more cards. The artists do really good work for Topps Living. They're not selling nearly as many as they used to, but I have the option each week of buying a Topps Living card. I'm okay with that. That's my decision to buy and sell cards. And so one of the reasons soccer cards really took off, and I mean this seriously, is everything could be a rookie card in soccer. If you switched leagues, your rookie card was in your new league.
So you had multiple.
So you had multiples.
Okay.
So it's okay. And if you have a Formula One driver who goes to NASCAR the next year, they'll have NASCAR rookie cards. If Lewis Hamilton all of a sudden gets the urge to drive NASCAR in 2024, you think anybody's going to turn down Lewis Hamilton? You think anybody would have turned down Michael Schumacher during his peak running, IndyCar? Do you think anybody would turn down, in the 60s and 70s, we had people like Jim Clark and A.J. Foyt and people like that who drove. Mario Andretti, they all drove in multiple, in different, they weren't just shoehorned. I don't know if A.J. Foyt, he may have driven NASCAR, but, they weren't shoehorned. Tony Stewart drove an IndyCar race, and then he drove a NASCAR race the same day.
Yeah.
So if that was his first year driving NASCAR, he'd have a NASCAR rookie card, and guess what? It was a NASCAR rookie card.
What's your take on international rookie cards?
I don't know enough about the subject, but it's the same principle. If they're licensed or whatever, that's fine. We use the same rule. That's what I was saying about F1.
Licensed by
the F1 people. Topps is making F1.
Yeah.
Panini has, Panini and Topps, they have different soccer leagues, but they're all licensed.
Because I know like Otani has some 2013 cards, right?
And that's licensed in Japan. You could say Japan rookie card.
Rookie card, right?
I know Ichiro had, I think, cards back to 93 in baseball.
Right.
Those were Japanese league rookie cards, and they were selling for a significant premium. They probably still are.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. We may not call it an American rookie card, but it is a rookie card for that league.
Would you say theirs is more important or more true per se than the American version?
The word true bothers me. Let's just say that it was a rookie card for them, and then Otani comes in 2018, and they're the American rookie cards too.
Yeah.
And so his rookie card for his league, it's not more important. I don't know as many people collect it, but I bet you in Japan there are probably more people collecting the Japanese league cards than there are in this country.
Why does the term true bother you?
Because, as I told you, they're all rookie cards, so it bothers me.
Okay.
It's there's no such thing as I shouldn't say there's no such thing as a false rookie card. That's not correct. But in a case like this, it's not really a true rookie card. It is a rookie card.
Okay.
It's not true. It's not false. It is.
And what about subsets and inserts? Today in
That's up
today's
to the
cards.
individual collector. Back in the day, the parallels weren't rookie cards. Now they're treated more like rookie cards. I'm okay with that if it makes you happy. You know, that song from the Sheryl Crow song from the 90s. Let's do it.
I got you.
I'm okay with that. I really am. You know, the marketplace tells you when all is said and done what people really consider a rookie card. It used to be that if I had a 2001 Ichiro and then a 2001 Topps Gold Ichiro printed to 2001, the 2001 Ichiro might be the same price as the gold, and only the regular card would be considered the rookie card. But if somebody wants to call the gold a rookie card, fine. It's a 2001. It's an American rookie. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And as I said, we hit in Mike Kramer and Pacific. We hit the ultimate thing with the rookie card in hockey, number to one. I mean, we got there eventually. I mean, I remember when that came out, it was like, oh, yep, it's a rookie card with our definitions.
Yeah, I've changed my stance on parallel rookie cards only because, and not in my personal PC, I prefer the base card. Okay. But I do know with my research, I cannot deny that the parallel rookie card is considered by many, by the overall consensus, as rookie cards. And I've even changed my stance.
And the inserts are too. It's okay. I know you like.
That'd be debatable with me. But
we all like structured world, but guess what?
Yeah,
it's okay. It really is, Victor. Okay. Yeah.
I just love Rich. When it comes to inserts and subsets, it's, to me, the concept that Con-C has is ideal. It's a rookie.
I agree, and that's why I told you I'm retired from that conversation. They're doing fine without me. I am not putting my nose into something. Even if I know about the subject, I want to stay out of that one. You guys are doing great without me.
Yeah.
Please don't include me in this conversation. Okay.
All right. We're good. Well, with that said, we will end this episode there, Rich. I do want to do another episode with you. We're going to take a little break here. And for those who have joined us today, thanks for joining us. Please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. If you got any questions or comments, let me know. Rich, where can people reach you if they want to get a hold of you?
Well, I'm available on all the social networks. Twitter, you see it's Uncle Rich Klein. That's actually at Saber Geek. And Facebook and LinkedIn are Rich Klein. And if you know me, you can pretty much figure out when you look at my profiles which Rich Klein it is on those networks. Right. If you see a lot of card-related people, you probably, with context clues, you can probably figure it out.
That's right. And on Hobby Hotline.
And on Hobby Hotline.
And Hobby News Daily.
And Hobby News Daily.
All right. Thanks, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.